Hey there, Wargamers, Justin here, Paint here, and today we're going to check out some Wolf's Dragoons. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel and start out by apologizing today for the lapse in content. Going through October, I had a lot of content pre-filmed, but my goal was to be doing a lot more battle reports and so forth, and unfortunately, a lot of my friends with the holidays and stuff, it's been hard to connect with them, so it's caused me to not have a lot of content to produce, and then my motivation took a little bit of a lull with some of that, because I obviously wasn't doing like unit reviews and stuff, because I wasn't playing like, or should be filming battle reports. My motivation to do unit reviews was a little low because I wasn't actually playing. So I'm going to try and get back to that. I had someone in the channel ask about me doing a review of the Marauder, or just reviewing a variant I might like, which is pretty easy because there's a few variants I do like. And though that kind of depends on what type of game you're playing, your points and whatnot. And I think that's why doing multiple unit reviews based on point totals and what you like for that particular variant is a good idea. That said, I will be trying to do some more content as I can, but I got this box in and I wanted to do an unboxing review just because it's something that I've done on the channel. I like it, and I think that you guys will benefit from it to some degree, and I'll be able to talk about some stuff that I haven't seen posted yet. I'm sure other people haven't seen it, but as of this recording on Facebook, I've only seen people posting the minis. I haven't seen a full on review. So that being said, let's go ahead and crack this open and check out what we've got. Got our handy dandy little sharp object here. Slice the side, and we'll pull it open. Now, as I've mentioned in previous reviews, these boxes are super nice, and it's a damn shame that they designed them the way that they did. Let me zoom out a little bit here, get our cards out. The backer in there is really, really nice. I'm trying to hold it so the light doesn't reflect off that the plastic here. But that mag cat in there would make really glorious like poster art, or I mean a poster would be cool, but like a little print. So like if this was an actual like slide-in card you could pull out and then like put in a frame or something, it'd be really cool, because this art is wasted on the back of the box. Like, it's really cool, but then we're going to toss the box unless you want to cannibalize it. I guess you could cut this up and put it in there, or put it in something, which is cool. Also, that's an Atlas. There's no Atlas in this box. That's pretty sick. Maybe we'll get an alt variant of some. His arm's pretty jacked up too. The artwork is really cool. Let's actually see if there's continued artwork on this side. I don't think so, because the flap goes the other way. But we'll flip it and check. Oh yeah, there's still a little art there too. Interesting. Interesting. Very cool. I guess it continues because this looks like the side of the Mad Cat's arm, right here. So I guess that's where they thought this flap might have folded in further like that. Yeah. So like that is the continuation of the, or something along those lines of the artwork. So that's pretty cool. I always like the back artwork on there. I think for the price point, if I'm honest with you guys, we're getting some really premium packaging and some really nice minis. I think this came in at around 30 bucks from Barnes & Nobles, and they made their street date. I was shocked. I was really shocked. I struggled to actually be able to get these in my shopping cart to place the order. Initially, everyone was in a frenzy. I think the Battletech community came together and collectively shut down the Barnes & Noble website for a bit. So I was pretty pleased when I got the email notification these were coming in. So first things first, we've got the 5 minis here. I'll pick them up individually and show you guys. And we've got the cards. Now, the thing that's really cool with the cards is that we get a nice hefty stack of them. So 5 units, you'd think you'd get 10 cards, 5 pilots, or 5 pilots and 2 mechs. There's 2 pilots per mech, which is a really good value. Now, these aren't super useful for Alpha Strike, or maybe even Classic for some people, but for collector purposes, or if you are using the abilities, it's nice to know that we got 2 different cards per mech. So, that said, let's go ahead and start with the Blackjack we've got here, and we'll pull him out and check out the unit. So we'll go ahead and get a little zoom in here, boop, 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 and check out the Blackjack. So this is basically a repose of the original Blackjack, and wouldn't you know, I have one here for a comparison, so you guys can see. Now, I like both. I think the Blackjack is cool. I really like the dynamic pose of this box a lot better. I also feel like the gun arms, it's got different gun arms too. Very cool, very cool. So not only is it a repose, we get different guns. Interesting. I didn't notice that when I first looked at the box. So that's a nice little thing. So it's an alternate sculpt, or alternate weapons, and alternate pose. So I dig that. I also just feel like those weapons look a little more crisp. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because the barrels are thicker, so they're not quite as like susceptible to like warping or bending. And he's also got like, was it SRM4s in his chest? He's got SRM4s. This guy's got armor plates there. Interesting. So little tiny details of basically weapon variants. Very cool. Very cool. I wanted to make sure I put the the original sculpt up there for you guys to see, so you could check out the differences. Now, for pilots, we'll do as we normally do. I'll throw these up on the screen, and then you guys can pause as you like and read them if you want to. So, first off, we've got Saxon Pierce from the 21st Centauri Lancers. And then we've got the Bobby L from Lyndon's Company. Just plop that down here. And then we've got Hal Bloomberg from the Wolf's Dragoons. And then we've got Argos Naskimbini. I'm sure I'm butchering that, but there we go. So it's cool because you get a card with 2 different Wolf Dragoon pilots on there from different probably companies of the Dragoons or sub-factions, because you get the black under the paint scheme, and then the blue and yellow one. And then you've got a standard card with other Merc units on there. So that's pretty cool. So we get those. And then the cards that's included are the Blackjack C, coming in at 33 points. Team M1, 8 jump. And then we've got 9 life, case 2, which is nice, and a 4/4/3 for damage. This variant is usable in the Ill Clan era, which is nice that that's on here. I'm not sure if that was on the older cards. I'd have to look, it might be, but this has the Dark Age and the Ill Clan, which is nice because this one, if you're playing era specific with Alpha Strike, this is focusing upon the area where the current lore is at with Blaine Pardo's Hour of the Wolf book. So that's pretty cool. I feel like for 33 points, this is similar stats for the Mad Dog, or there's a version of the Mad Dog rather that is 33 points. That's a 3/3/3 across the board. If I haven't done a review on that as a unit I like, that's one I plan to do because it's my favorite variant of the Mad Dog. It's just really cheap to get on the table. Then we've got the BJ2, which is usable from Clan Invasion on, coming in at 30 points, 3/3/2, 8 jump, team M1, no specials, and 9 life. So basically you're paying 3 points less for this one, a little bit less damage. But if you got the 3 points to spare and you're either not playing area specific or you are playing area specific, and this one would work for 3 points more, I like having that damage across the board. Not bad. Not bad. So let's go ahead and slide our Blackjack out of the way here. Boop, boop. And next up, we've got the Archer. So let's grab the Archer unit here, and we'll do a quick little perusal of the mini. And I'm a complete moron and did not plan ahead and grab both variants of the Archer. I forgot there was the Morgan Kell and the Standard, so I've only got, I think that's the Morgan Kell variant I've got here on the table. But there is the current new sculpt. A whole bunch of LRM missiles there. And I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of differences. I can spot some immediately. So it is an alt sculpt, obviously. But if we look closely here, you can see, maybe it's something to point with. You'd think with a hobby desk here, it'd have something to point. Oh, this will work. This will work great. All right, hang on. A little unscrew it. Okay. All right, so got the standard LRM casing here, but if you look underneath the casing, this one might be a little hard to see because it's a Dragoonies, black colors, difficult. This one's actually got what looks like SRM4s on the underside of his chest here. Whereas this one does not, as I just stabbed my model here with my little stabby stick. Other than that, the arms look to be essentially the same. Got the underslung laser on both variants here. I'm not going to count the pips for the LRM holes, but that looks to be the same on the surface. So pretty cool that we get a light variant here, but not quite as different from the Marauder or the Archer we've already got as compared to the Blackjack, who had the original had different guns than the resculpt. So anyways, I think that does look cool. I'm indifferent on the pose. The pose is cool, but I mean, this pose is also pretty cool. You know, it's Archer, blowing stuff up, but nice for variety's sake. So let's get into the unit cards, or the pilot cards here. So We've got Jennifer Whitmore Smith from the 12th Vegan Rangers. Shwoop. And then we've got Arthur Blankenship from Wilson's Hussars. And then the Winged Hussars arrived. A little Sabaton for you guys. And then we've got Michael Strake from the Wolf Dragoons. And then, lo and behold, Jamie Wolf. I tried to save him for last because that's kind of the guy for the Wolf Dragoons that people would know. He's got a whole bunch of abilities down here too, so, but you guys might have taken a moment to pause that and read that as you wish. Alright, for the actual unit card itself, we've got the Archer C2, so that's going to go from the Civil War all the way through the Oakland. Got a little schmutz on there, get that off. Coming at 52 points, Team M1, 8 movement, 774, looking like 13 life, and direct fire 2 case. Not too bad, a little pricey, which for the damage makes sense, but I like to play a little bit more lean with the points when I play stuff because I want more models on the table if I can manage it. And I'd rather have more chances to roll dice for damage than have it all consolidated. And the reason I don't like consolidating very often, I'll have 1 or 2 heavy hitters and everyone else is kind of lean, mean, fight machines. The reason I don't like this is if you put all your eggs in one basket, he's only got Team M1, and that may be a lot of damage and a decent amount of life, but Focus Fire takes stuff down in Alpha Strike. And in any wargaming, you shoot it enough till the thing's dead. And with this, it's no different. And with that Team M1, it's really rough. So when you're playing clan stuff, like... for 3 points more, there's a 55-point Mad Cat with comparable life that I like to play with comparable damage, similar special abilities, and it has Team M2 and an 8 move. I really like that because that one Team M difference makes a huge difference on the tabletop. You might not think so, but you're leveraging range modifiers, leveraging your TMM, and then leveraging cover if you can get it. That's 3 layers you can add on. And going from Team M1 to Team M2 is a big deal. So for similar point totals, there's Mad Cat variants that do similar damage, similar things, and just more resilient on that front. So I like running stuff that's a little cheaper. If it's stuff that's easy to kill. And if it's easy to kill, it's either, for me, it's all or nothing. Like, if I'm going to field an Atlas, it's easy to kill. It's going to be a bunch of points to do a bunch of damage. It's also got a lot of life. It's going to get beat up. If I'm going to field the Archer, which I want to be kind of my damage dealer, I don't want him to be a glass cannon, so to speak. So... And that brings us to the Archer 2W that's usable in almost every era. 35 points, Team M1, 8 move, 233 for damage, a little less life. I think the other one had, what, 13? So this one has 13, and this one here's got 11, so a little less life. Indirect Fire 2, LRM 112, 233 for damage, and OV2. So you have a little bit extra punch when you need it at the short and medium range, putting you to a 4 or 5. Now this is considerably less damage than the other one, which is coming in at 774. But you're also paying 17 points less for this one, which is almost another mech. That's almost a Locust. Actually, it might be a Locust depending on variants. It's definitely, maybe potentially a small tank or something. So it depends on what you want to do. And granted, this one's got a little less life and considerably less damage. For the point differential, you could get 2 mechs on the table. That's more activations, more movement, more chances to do things, more chances to play objectives, more chances to flank behind your opponent. So when I'm building lists, I kind of have to tailor what I want to do. And I don't field a lot of, like, giant heavy hitters. I'll have 1 or 2 on my list and everything else is lean and mean. So between the 2 of these, I like the other one for the damage, but I really like the point total for this and what it brings to the table. The Mad Dog variant I like to play. It's my baseline for comparing stuff. I forget the nomenclature for it, if I got that right. The Mad Dog I like is a 33-pointer, 333 across the board, Team M2, 10 move. It has 8 or 9 life, I think it's 8. And then it has like Omni and I think Case, and that's it. So for 2 points more, this one has less TMM, similar damage. You don't want to be at short range, but at medium and long, you're good. It has indirect fire, which is nice, so he is a little fragile, but you can hide him behind terrain, which this has IF2 as well. You don't want to be leveraging the IF on this one as much because you're paying the points. You want to get in that short and medium range, probably just hang on medium for that 7 damage. The more, every turn that you're not firing or rolling your 7 damage at your opponent, his turns he's not making his points back. This one at 35, if you're hiding behind cover, you're only losing 1 of your shots to fire IF. So it's not as detrimental, whereas this one you're losing 5. At your short and medium range if you're firing IF. So you're losing quite a bit, except for long. You're losing half, but even this guy's still just 1. So playstyle could be different. This one's going to be doing a lot less face tanking, so a lot less HP to worry about. Being able to fire over cover is nice with indirect fire. Again, you're only losing 33% of your fire capacity to do that. And then if something does happen to get behind and flank your position, you got your OV if you really need that in a pinch. If you catch him at medium, OV to 5 to try and take him out, or OV to 4 to take him out. And if you're getting flanked that bad, he might be not long for this world anyway, but he's got some stuff. So I really like that variant myself. Your mileage may vary. And of course, there's more units on Master Unit List as well, not just what's in the box. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. So with that said, a little analysis of the Archer will be done. And let's move on to the Rifleman. Now, I do have a Rifleman on my desk here as well. So let's get the plastic one out. Now, this is probably my favorite from the box. It just looks so badass to me. Like, granted, I don't know what's that shooting at. And this one's kind of, actually, it's a little bit more flat trajectory. So I suppose you could repose this arm if you really wanted both up. But I kind of imagine just like, doof, doof, doof. He's like running or moving. It's a very dynamic pose compared to the original, which is more of a hunkered down shooting static. So I favor motion on my minis. It helps me get into the universe, get into the cinematic feel of what's on the table. So I really like those cinematic poses. Again, your mileage may vary. That's what I like. So comparing guns here, the gun casings look to be almost the same. It looks like this barrel may actually have been designed, the little muzzle brake there. It looks like it might have been designed with a bit of a taper. I'm not sure if that was intentional, if it was the mold slipping or something. This side looks almost identical, but this one almost had a taper, so I think that might just be variance in the sculpts, the tolerances and whatnot. So guns look basically the same. Front torso here, let's take a peek. Yeah, chest and stuff looks to be essentially the same, I think. It doesn't look like there's any deviations. The nose is different. So this one's got a little bit of a nub there. This one's got not quite as pronounced a one. Maybe that's like a mold slippage, or because it does seem a little bit more washed out on the front than this one. This one looks a bit more crisp, which again, with the dynamic pose and how this stuff was plastic injected, maybe that's just a little more shallow on the details. So not exactly sure on that. I did get 2 boxes of these, so I'll have to compare to the other box and see. Actually, I've got it laying right here open. Let's take a quick peek and see if that's consistent. Yeah, you can see the little dimple here. That one still does taper a little bit. So yeah, I think maybe it's just this got slightly different, mold, and that is what it is. So that said, let's check out the pilot cards that we've got. All right, so we've got Wasm Naif from the McGee's Cutthroats. We've got Davis McCall from the Grey Death Legion. That's pretty cool for you guys playing Grey Death Legion with Grayson Carlisle. So you got that. We'll add a little extra to your collection. I think that'll probably be, the Rifleman will probably be a popular one people want, just, if they're collecting for that faction. We got Johnny Clavel from the Wolf's Dragoons. And then we've got Titania K. Duval. And I think that's, yeah, they're both kind of similar paint schemes too. So yeah, very cool. For the unit card here, we've got the Rifleman C3. Again, Dark Age and Oak Line era, 38 points, 444 across the board. Coming in with 11 life. I like that. That's a pretty beefy Rifleman. Again, so we were talking about the Archer a moment ago, and comparing points here. So 35 to 38, 3-point difference. This one has one more structure, one less armor. This has one more armor, one less structure. Whatever. This has indirect fire LRMs. This does not. This has case. Movement similar, TMM similar. This one's got a little bit more damage, and OV. It can get to 5, or you can get to 5 with OV of a 1 instead of a 2 to do it. Consistent across the board. So if we're comparing kind of to that Mad Dog I was talking about, this one's 5 points more. A little bit more life and more damage, albeit less TMM. So not a bad variant, keeping it pretty lean and consistent damage across the board. And again, kind of comparing to this Archer, this one coming in at 14 points less, less life, but a little bit more damage than the other variant too. So I really do I like that variant. I don't know if that comparison was make any difference for you guys, but I like that. So let's flip it over and see what we got on the other side. The Rifleman 3N, this is usable in all eras. Considerably cheaper at 26 points, so 12-point difference. Again, that's almost a mech. A lighter mech like a Wasp or a Stinger, a little Harasser. But again, getting critical mass on the table is good. Less life, this one's got 9 versus this one having 11, so 2-point life difference. The other one's a 444. This one's a 221, so not as good at long range. Again, you're probably going to be playing mostly in the medium range bracket. OV2 to get there. If you just got points to throw, this isn't bad. Not doing a lot of damage, but you've got the 2 damage you're throwing out compared to, again, the Mad Dog, which just has similar life to the Mad Dog that I keep referencing, and it comes in at 7 points cheaper. This one might be getting on the too lean side for me. I usually like to have at least 3 damage in here. 2 doesn't seem like much because I've got lights I can throw out 2 and try and flank, get on your rear. If I'm going to field something beefy, I want to get a little bit more. So if the era works for me, and I can field this one, I like it a little bit more, a little bit tankier, a little bit more damage. So right out of the box, if you're playing in the Republic, Dark Age, Ill Clan era, I like this one. Playing any other ones, there might be a variant on Master Unit list that's better than this one. I do like having the cards, but let's be honest, people just go to Master Unit list and build. But if you're doing a pickup game at a shop and you want to go quick, you can totally grab your cards, build with that, use dry erase, and go at it. So if that's the case, pick what you want. I like this variant a little bit better. And last but not least here, we've got, it's not last actually, I was thinking at 4. There's 5 guys in this box. So let's go ahead and get into the Mad Cat. So let's bring up old Timby. We got our Timberwolf here. I feel like his little ears are not drooping. Let's see if my other one is. That was a pretty common issue with some of the Mad Cats from this stuff. No, they look to be pretty low. That's nice. And let's compare him to the other variants. This is obviously an alternate sculpt. The guns look essentially the same. The feet look essentially the same. The torso and cockpit look pretty much the same. Yeah, so I think this might be a straight up just resculpt or repose. No real additions or subtractions, and then here's the other Mad Cat variants, which it's mostly just leg differences. So very similar to this one as well. I guess the main difference is that on these variants, this one is the character one, and it's got these little jets in the back, and the standard one from the Clan Invasion box, and this one do not have those little jets. Somebody from the Facebook, when I was doing a trade, pointed that out to me. So the actual Aiden Pride mech has little jump jets back there. Didn't know that. So, still a pretty crisp mini here. It looks pretty cool. Can't go wrong with a Timberwolf, right? So for unit cards, we've got the Climb from, if I said it right, from the Cowhounds. Pardon me, I'm going to take a quick little sip here. Been a little while since I was on the YouTube, so a little parched. So we got Climb, Cowhounds. I think that might be common for some people, because Cowhounds I think is pretty popular. We've got Claire Hemphill from Eridani Light Horse. Stacy Church from the Wolf's Dragoons. And Brixley Ball from the Wolf's Dragoons. Okay. And then for the unit card, we've got the Mad Cat Timberwolf T, Dark Age, Ill Clan. 63 points, getting into that little pricey territory for me. 2 TMM, 10 move, 774. Case, IF3 Omni, 12 points. Not too bad. I like that it has IF3. So when we were comparing to kind of glass cannon territory, let me grab that Archer again. We'll keep kind of coming back to that. So 11-point difference. This guy had, what, 13 life? This guy's got 12, so a little bit more life. Similar damage. So in this case, you're paying for the move and the TMM. So between the two, very similar and better IFL in this guy. So if this guy's indirect firing, he's giving up 5 damage to do that. If the Timberwolf does, he's only giving up 4. So it gives you a little flexibility. You're not losing quite as much. Still losing a lot when you're doing it. 11-point difference. So you're really paying for that TMM because their stat line is so similar. So similar if you're comparing that. But again, I really like that TMM being a 2 here. So And the extra move's nice too. So if I'm bringing a heavy hitter, it's usually something like this. Though on the Master Unit list, there's some 55 or mid 50 range Timberwolves with similar damage profiles that are probably a little bit more efficient than this and save some points as well. So yeah, let's check out the other variant here. This is the Timberwolf that's usable in almost every era. So starting with the, it looks like it says Succession Wars. I'm assuming that is because this is a Wolf's Dragoons variant or something, and they had them. You just didn't pull them out in the Inner Sphere or whatnot. So, but yeah, this one is listed as pre-Clan Invasion. Could be a typo. Could just be this variant was a Wolf's Dragoons one that they hadn't whipped out. Whatever. Although it's got the Light Horse decal on it. Team M2, 10 move, normal, 54 pointer, 554. 1 heat, 12 life, same as the other one. Case IF2, LRM, Omni. This has Case IF3, no LRM, but Omni, and 774, Overheat 2. The Overheat's nice for the extra damage if you need it to pump you up to that 9. Compared to this one coming in at 6 with the Overheat, but this one coming in at 9 points cheaper. A little less damage, but 9 points cheaper. So when you're working with your lean lists, this is still a nice damage profile. You save 9 points here. Maybe you're fielding the cheaper Archer. You add that, 15 or something points, 16, or yeah, whatever the point savings was from the Archer. Field the cheaper one, all of a sudden you've got, 20-something points that you've saved between the two. That could be a complete other mech. So between these two variants, I would probably favor the slightly more lean one just based on the cards. If you're using the IF, you're only giving up 3 damage versus giving up 4 damage on this guy to do it. So it doesn't hinder you quite as much. You're not giving up quite as much potential damage by using it with this variant. And you save points, so I like that. And again, the mileage may vary based on mission parameters, what you have at your disposal, and your points, overall points. So, may vary. You can't go wrong with the Timberwolf, though. I love that model. And now, last but not least, we're going to get into the new model in the box that's not just a resculpt. We're going to get into the Annihilator. So I have nothing to compare him to. Size-wise, I suppose we can compare to these models for size and scale purposes, but heavy versus, the 100-ton behemoth here. The thing that I'm not as big of a fan of with the Annihilator is the Annihilator has 4 move and Team M0. If I'm fielding an assault, I really like the, I believe it's the King Crab and the Atlas. Both are movement 6, TMM 1, which is very nice considering the Archer over here, the Rifleman, those are heavies, and they are 8 move TMM 1. So you give up movement for the King Crab and the Atlas, but you still get that TMM, which is nice considering most of the clan stuff of similar tonnage to those heavies has a TMM 2. Well, this guy's coming in with the same TMM as one of our heavies, whereas this guy doesn't. So I like that little extra TMM. So let's give you a little rotation here. I think he looks a little bit better in person than he does in the pictures. His torso and stuff does seem like it's not quite elongated enough or something, from based on what I've seen of the artwork. But it's kind of cute, a little enduring, little Dragon Zord bro. Let's check out the cards we got. We got Marlissa Buchanan from the Northwind Highlanders. We've got Torvald Stendal from the Hanson's Rough Riders. That's pretty cool. That's a Dark Age era thing. I used to play a lot of the Clicks and the Rough Riders were a thing then. Or at least for me, I'm familiar with them from there. Maybe they predate, I don't know. We got Rebecca Abineur, or Abineur. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm assuming that's French. Wolf's Dragoons. And then we've got Corjan Holmes, Wolf's Dragoons as well. Check out the card here. 62 points, so coming in at a similar point total to that one Madcap variant. 9-10 damage, or 9-10-6 damage for short, medium, and long. Case 2, nothing fancy on the abilities. Again, 0 TMM, which was the thing I was talking about before. He's got 8, so 16 life total. Not too bad for a tanky mech. The big problem I've seen with going up against Annihilators, if they get overheated, it's a main problem because it lowers your movement and affects your skill. And if he gets hit with an MP hit, it's brutal, lowering you down to 2 movement on 1 MP hit. Makes him slow to a crawl. So does heat. So So if you're playing the Annihilator, you're probably posting up somewhere. You might actually use the hold down ability. It would take all of his movement and a dice roll of a 7 or better. If he gets the hold down, if I recall, it would reduce all of his damage outputs to an 8, 9, and a 5 by 1, basically at all range bands. But he would be treated as having basically team in 1 or a cover of 1, no matter what. And his size would be treated as a 3 instead of a 4 for line of sight purposes, if I recall reading. So that might be actually good for him. If you're playing with an Annihilator, maybe you post up midfield so he's got a good overlapping arc of the table. Try and get your hold down, and then before going some damage, but at least you're getting a little bit of a TMM, and you know you're not going to move. You're just going to sit there and blast stuff. So that is an option. Now this one, coming at 21 points cheaper, much less damage. So we had 9, 10, 6. So we have 4, 4, 3 instead of 9, 10, 6. So we're giving up 5, 6, and 1. I think it was damage, or 3, sorry. Differences here. Saving a lot of points. This one's coming in at 15 life instead of 16. We have case and flag. 41 points is not too expensive for this walking tank. He also has OB2. I missed that too. So overheat. He's kind of a walking house, brick house, walking fortress that's just going to get shot, which he will. With 0 TMM, your opponent's probably going to shoot at him. So maybe if you're running the Annihilator, you're walking down the table hoping your opponents focus him instead of other units, which, depending on what options you give them, they may. But when you're playing stuff, the strategy I think might be give your opponent options and make them make the difficult choices. So if your Annihilator's the only thing they could see, of course they're going to shoot it. If your Annihilator's out there and you have multiple units that they have to choose from, they're not having to choose between something that might be a juicier target but has a higher TMM, harder to hit, or the one that's easy to hit and take it out. And this guy could take maybe a couple turns of fire, which is turns that your other mechs aren't, and tanks and support aren't being hit. So it depends on how you want to play, and I think that's kind of how a lot of assaults play. Even in the lore, I feel like a lot of them just march down the field and just crush stuff and get blasted. So maybe that's a way you play them. I don't know much else on how I might run this guy. I really think this one with the hold down ability in a nice position at the midfield of a map might not be too bad. Just to increase his survivability, and they have to dig him out. But it's a lot of points for not having TMM, and if I'm honest, I favor the heavy and medium category a lot for Battletech, and I like lights for the harassing. The assault class is the one class I don't play a lot of, and when I do, it's usually my Atlas or my King Crab. So this might be an area for you guys in the comments. If you have some thoughts on the Annihilator and how you might play it, perhaps there's a variant that isn't on this double-sided card, obviously, because Master Unit List has a lot. Share in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the Annihilator, what you would do, or if there's a different variant. So with that said, though, folks, that's going to bring us to the end of our video here today, our little unboxing. So, again, we checked out the Annihilator. We got the Rifleman. We got the Archer here. We got the Blackjack and the Mad Cat. And then we checked out the alternate sculpt, or the original sculpts along with these. I think for the value, for 30 bucks or so, not too bad for 5 mechs. And then we get a little bit extra value too. We got the 5 mech cards, and then we got 10 pilot cards, which I think is pretty nice for a mercenary themed box. We got 5 Dragoon cards, which are double-sided, so technically 10 pilots, and then 10 other pilots, because again, they're double-sided, for a variety of options for your game. So pretty happy with that. Again, I think the MVP for me for looks is probably the Rifleman. I think that's really, really cool. But it's nice that we did get a new model in here. I would have liked to have seen maybe like 3 out of the 5 being new, or maybe even just 2. Having 4 basically mostly repos, different weapons on the chest, mostly repos, and then yeah, I think that was it. So like a lot of reposes with some slight variances, but not a huge difference on the models, unfortunately. So this was the new one, and I think I probably favored that Rifleman. So, but that said, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Again, I apologize for not producing some content. I'm going to try and get back into the swing of things when I can wrangle my friends to do some battle report filming, which will get me doing more unit reviews of stuff that I like to play on the tabletop. I did participate in the Southern Assault from Fortress Miniatures and Games, and I did get this first place prize or trophy for Best Painted. And I have some stuff I can talk about from that event, my experiences with that, both good and bad, list building, and how the event went. I just have to sit down and do that. And unfortunately, by the time you guys hear it, it might be just well past when the event took place. But I would still like to talk about it and share my thoughts with you guys, because I learned some stuff and have some different perspectives on how to approach a tournament, which I've done tournaments before, but the Alpha Strike was pretty casual compared to other stuff. And most of the people I played with were pretty chill. So I think it'd be cool to talk about that. With that being said, thank you guys again for tuning in. I appreciate all of your support as always. If you're still a subscriber and you're wondering on what the content is, thank you for being there. Thanks for being supportive. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the description down below. We got a coupon code down there for Death for Design. Save you a little bit of cash, help support what I do, because I work there for my day job as well. And if you enjoy the cool, fresh painted minis that you've seen here, make sure you check out the comments or the description down below as well. I've got a affiliate link as well as a coupon code for Pro Acryl from Monument Hobbies. Woo! And that is predominantly 95% probably of the paint I'm using right now is from the Pro Acryl line. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Hope you had an awesome holiday. Hope the rest of your year is bright and you get some Battletech gaming in. You get to roll some dice, have good times with friends and family. With that said, it's time for me to go. Keep rolling those dice, keep painting those models, and I'll catch you guys next time.